Kevin Rumley, CV Products, here to describe the installation of our newly developed Sprint Car cam drive with integrated crank trigger. So let's get started. First step is to install the supplied dowels, 2-inch dowels into the block here, 1.25-inch dowel into the cam here. Next step is to install the crank seal into the rear cover. You want to get it aligned and press firmly through the seal. Be careful not to fold any of the seal element back. You will want to inspect this. Once this is complete, roll the engine over on top dead center. Then you want to install the rear cover here. Okay, just a few critical areas where you would need to put some silicone to ensure that there is no vacuum leaks or oil leaks. The first place being between the rear guard seal area and the crank gear. You want to put some silicone here on the face and on top of the keyway. These are all possible leak paths, so you would want to do that to ensure there's no vacuum leaks or oil leaks. We want to now install the crank gear. You want to use a tool to press this on. This one's been bored out for ease of instruction purposes. The next area where you want to install some silicone is around this face here of the cam bearing, the back face where it butts up against the rear cover. You want to put a thin film of silicone around this area here. Once the lower gear is installed, we now want to install the cam thrust bearing. As you notice, this is all one piece. Very simple design, integrated seal. So to put this on, just line up the dowel pin, the bolt holes, place it on like that. Then we want to torque these nuts to 7 foot-pounds. It's very important not to over-torque these because it will pull the studs out of the rear cover. Once the cam bearing is installed, we will now install the upper gear and belt. Now there's no need to worry about cam thrust with this cam bearing. It is all built in and adjusted here at our factory. So we want to align the timing dots and place the assembly on like this. Once the cam gear is installed, we now want to install the oil pump drive with the cam bolts. Now you want to use a little red Loctite on these cam bolts and torque these bolts to 28 foot-pounds. After the oil pump drive is installed, we want to install the crank trigger wheel / timing wheel. Notice the graduations for timing. It is graduated from 20 to 40 degrees plus a mark for top dead center. I want to install it where top dead center mark is slightly above this first stud here. Once the oil pump drive is installed and torqued on, you can now proceed with setting your cam timing. You do this by loosening these nuts here and moving the cam gear relative to the sprocket spider here. Once you do that, these bolts receive a torque of 18 foot-pounds. The next step is to install the non-magnetic pickup into our bracket, and you want to set the depth where the edge of the pickup is equal to the radius, the clearance radius here that's going to go above this trigger wheel. So you want to set that even. That'll give it plenty of clearance for the crankshaft moving around so this trigger is not destroyed. Once you're happy with the depth, you torque this bolt here to 40 inch-pounds. And you want to make sure that the that the sensor will not move once you do that. Once the outer cover is installed, you want to torque these nuts here to 7 foot-pounds. Once the outer cover is installed, the next step is to make sure your engine's on top dead center. At this time, we will set the reference for top dead center on the timing wheel. And you do this by moving the slotted trigger timing wheel to align top dead center mark up with the stainless steel dowel pin in this hole here. This is also where you shoot your ignition timing with the strobe light.